What is up? What is up? What is up? How everybody doing tonight? We got first of all, can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me good? Tonight we have the king of Frontier Airlines in the building. I mean, might as well say the king. I can't even say the king of Frontier Airlines. This guy's like the king of international flying. Like he is the king of international flying. I see we got Key in the building. What is up, Key? Ian is in the building. Josh is in here. I know Josh and Key got something coming up, so salute to y'all. Y'all know how we do. Get a couple people in here before we get going. Get a couple people in here before we get going. We got Call Me Lonnie in the building. And just so everybody know, 8:30 we doing the celebration. 5K subscribers. I was supposed to do it last week, but I ran into some issues, had to do something after last week's Unfiltered. So today at 8:30, we having a celebration, probably be like an hour or so, maybe a little longer, I don't know. Got Eric and Filmo in the building. I say I got a guest here that's, yeah, we should have worked together so long. Like we should have worked together so long. But, you know, better now than never. Better now than never. So y'all know how I do, man. I don't want to keep the guests waiting too long in the back. You know what I'm saying? I don't want them to get antsy and all that. So I'm gonna go ahead, do his introduction, and get him in here. What is up, team? It's your boy Sledge from the SledgeIncTeam, back with another episode of 20 Questions with Sledge. And today we have the Frontier King, the business and first class master, and he saved over $20,000 using credit card points. It's my guy, the one and only Michael Wong from Michael Wong's Credit and Travel. What is up, my guy?
What's going on, Sledge?
What is going on, man? How you feel about that introduction?
Hey, I think it's great. I mean, Frontier, domestic, international, credit cards. I think it's a great introduction to my channel, what I'm talking about.
All right, now, a lot of the people probably already know you, but for the people that don't, can you do a slight introduction of yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Michael. I got into this hobby just like everyone else, like watching you, Sledge, and everyone here in the credit cards and more than travel. And, I did a little bit of travel when I was younger, and it inspired me to, get into credit cards, maximize, and then travel domestically, internationally. So, yeah, so I like to give, strategies on travel, credit cards, all that kind of stuff. Just maximize what you can do and travel wherever you want, and also just do whatever you want, whether it's domestic travel, international travel, resorts, all that kind of stuff. I think that's the best thing about using your credit card miles and going wherever you want in the world.
That's what's up. Hey, before we even get into it, Lonnie, call me Lonnie. Got a question for you. Say where you at today, Michael?
Yeah, so when me and Sledge talked a while ago, so I'm in Tokyo right now. So second time in about 5 months, and we just got into Tokyo yesterday. And as you can see in the background, I tried to give you guys. You can see it's 8 o'clock in the morning here, so time difference in the future here in Tokyo.
Time difference in the future, man. Yeah, my daughter said it get light pretty early and dark pretty early.
Yeah, sundown is about 5 right now over here, so it's like, it's kind of the thing here. Like generally, you wake up early, you kind of do all your things early, and sundown comes around 5 here, so it's a little bit different over here.
All right. So, the way 20 Questions with Sledge works is basically I'm going to ask you 20 questions, some credit card related, some not so much. The whole gist of 20 Questions with Sledge is for the viewers to get to know you, for you, and we add in some questions from the chat, and have a little fun with it. The last 4 or 5 questions just gonna be some fun questions. And if you're ready to get started, let's get into it.
Let's get started.
All right, now the first question that I'll ask every guest that come on here is, what made you pick up a camera and start recording videos for YouTube?
Just like I said in the beginning, Sledge, like I've been inspired, whether it's you guys, even the veteran guys who've got like a million. Like it's just like we do this stuff every day, like every day, multiple times a day. We listen to podcasts, we watch videos, we read articles, and once you have that passion to do this kind of stuff, it's like you said, just hit record and go. And so it's like sometimes you hit it big, sometimes you don't. But if you're having fun doing it and you connect with people, like the NOLA meetup, I met with you guys, like it was great. Like that kind of stuff you can't put a price on. Like just meeting people in real life, sharing the same passion, enjoying a
Yeah.
meal, enjoying a drink, like that kind of stuff, and then just experiencing real life experiences, whether it's coming to Tokyo or going to Chicago or going to California, spending time in a resort, like doing that kind of stuff. That's what matters in the end, and that's what kind of inspired me to share experiences, show strategy, so that you can take advantage of stuff and just stay at 5-star resorts, 2-star resorts, whatever it is. If you're family, like that's the point of this game, and just sharing the knowledge. And whether you inspire 1,000 people, 200,000 people, or five people, that's how I feel. Like just it doesn't matter what it is, as long as you can change even one person's life. That's what inspired me to record, and that's why I still do it. Doesn't matter about anything, just having fun, basically.
That's what's up, man. You know what? This is a credit card YouTube channel. You are a credit card YouTuber for the most part. You a travel and credit card YouTuber. But the first question gonna be about credit cards. What was the first credit card that you ever had, and what made you pick that card?
So, first credit card I got, I've talked about it, is the Bank of America Cash Rewards card. I didn't really choose it. I was like I said, my family's been in Bank of America for like almost 3 decades now. I'm sure a lot of people have said like, why did you get into it? I don't necessarily know why. Maybe people know why, but I think it's just maybe the branding and marketing of Bank of America at that time, like 20, 30 years ago. It was probably one of the more major and prominent banks, at least where I was. So you kind of just follow what your family tells you, and after a certain amount of time, you start doing your own thing. But for the most part, it was just that, get your accounts, get your money saved up, get your credit cards, build your credit score, all that stuff. And so I've had that card well for over 20, 30 years, with being authorized user and having accounts. So yeah, I mean, nothing special, nothing crazy, but just having good habits when you're a young adult, I guess.
Yeah. You know what? I was with Bank of America for like 15 years, and for whatever reason, I never had one personal Bank of America card. Like, I kind of regretted that the customized rewards card. I'm thinking about that card, but I know Bank of America is kind of what do you think? In your experience, they're kind of relationship based.
I don't really think it's anything crazy. I mean, I've been with them for so long. Like we've had issues in the past. Like I think one time my brother had an issue when we were overseas, and like there was a fraud alert, and he had to call them overseas and stuff. But I mean, I would say I don't think it's anything like, I don't feel as personal, maybe as maybe a credit union, but it's just a big conglomerate bank.
Yeah.
Had no issues, haven't had anything spectacular. Like it's just a big bank. Like they help you out, stuff like that. But it's nothing like, if you want to be more in touch with someone, a more personal advisor, maybe a credit union's better, or even a smaller bank. So I don't have anything negative or anything super positive. It's just you've been with them for so long that you can cut ties with them at least, but then things could happen with your score and stuff like that. So
Right. Hey, you've been with them so long. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Lisa J. Stocks in the building. I got to get Lisa on Unfiltered. Yeah, we got to get in touch. The next question is, how many credit cards do you currently have? I know you have over 20 at this point. Which ones would you cancel?
I haven't. So I have like, I think I did that video a while ago. Definitely around 20. Active. I mean, definitely around maybe at least 15 of them are active, or maybe 14 of them are active. Cancel wise, like there's going to be some down the pipeline probably this year. I haven't canceled any so far. All of them are active or semi-active or very loosely used, like that Best Buy card. I don't even know why they haven't canceled that K Jewish. I haven't used that since the engagement ring. Um, oh well, no, I got canceled. I think a Venmo debit card one time. So that's a card, but not a credit card. But there might be some down the pipeline, like just with some of the credit card issuers like Barclays and stuff like that. Like it may be better just to cut the cord with them if you want to get another sign up bonus, stuff like that. But currently, there may be some down this year. Maybe that MX Business Gold. I think that's a very like polarizing card to talk about, just because I do get value. Player two gets value with that Walmart Plus, but it's hard to justify that increased annual fee. And then, like I said, when you have these big annual fee cards, you like to justify the spend, and I have to look at the numbers really and see if the spend is kind of up to par with the annual fee. I don't know, but like I know like my wife would be kind of disappointed if we got rid of that Walmart Plus, but like obviously you could just find other ways of getting that perk, or maybe getting like like an Amex offer and get 50% off or whatever. So like there's other ways, but that would be the immediate card I would think about maybe canceling, but it's we'll see. So
Man, I have a tough decision to make on that card. I think my annual fee come up it's either November or December. I'm not really sure, but yeah, it's one of them cards. Like I was thinking about canceling it, but I actually like the card. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and like
Card,
yeah, I like it too, Sledge. I like it too, and like the 4x categories, 4x on some really prominent categories,
right?
and like even here internationally, like that Amex Gold, I can put it to work. Like in Japan, like they literally post almost a lot of the major restaurants. They'll accept Amex now. Amex is pretty much accepted, at least in Japan. It's pretty prominent internationally, so it's not as bad. It's like they're willing to accept it, especially in the bigger areas. Obviously, mom and pops are different, but like you and Amex points are very valuable, whether you believe it or not. Like when you talk about credit card issuers like Amex and Chase, like those are the biggest ones, and their partners are the bigger ones that people want to use. I mean, I pretty much exclusively use almost like maybe 80% Amex for travel and then 20% for Chase. So like Amex points are still very valuable, and those are big bonuses that people can hit off their property taxes and annual and quarterly fees. So
You know what? That's gonna spin us right into the next question. What is your favorite credit card ecosystem, and why do you say it?
yeah, I mean, I've got a couple. So we've got Chase between the two of us, Amex between the two of us. City is more of player two, at least on the personal side, and then I have Capital One. I just got a Wells Fargo card. Let's see, who else is left? Is anyone else left? I mean, there's obviously like U.S. Bank stuff, yeah, but like in regards to favorites, like I mean, I'll stick honestly with Chase. I know there's a Hyatt thing going on, and I use a lot of Hyatt here. I'm in a Hyatt hotel right now, so you're gonna get value out of that. But I still use it for transfers as well. But it just depends really on what you're transferring to. So Chase altogether, like it's still great. Like with Hyatt and then domestic travel, it's really strong if you fly, Southwest or United, obviously with direct transfers and international. It has very good international partners as well that I've used. So I'll stick with that. I mean, it's very close with Amex. I use Amex for a lot because Amex has a lot of Asian partners that are more direct transfers that you can use. So I'd say they're very close. It's like a 1A, 1B, but still chases by a little bit just because of the high value. But with Amex, they've got better international partners that I like to use for Asia. So it's very
Right,
close, but it's not too bad. So
man. All right, you got a question from Kiki Event. She said, "What has been your most memorable non-flight or hotel? Wait a minute. Your most memorable non-flight or hotel you've done with points and miles?"
so I did something similar that what Key did has done in our channel too, and I redeemed points and miles for like a baseball game, like being in Atlanta. Like I've done one of those, and I think that's pretty the coolest thing. I think redeeming points and miles for like a sporting event is probably the most unique thing I've done, and I could say most memorable is because you didn't really know you can do it. Like you can do it American Airlines with some of their events, like go to the Dallas Mavericks game, or Capital One and Taylor Swift and all that stuff. So like that would be my most memorable event. The value isn't as great, but it's just very cool and an innovative way to use points and miles like to sporting events. So that's my most memorable event. I went to a Braves game, and it's pretty cool, to use points and miles and save money on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I mean, you know what? I never even thought about that. I never even thought about that. All right, now, when we talk about travel credit cards, what benefits do you absolutely have to have on a travel credit card?
For travel credit cards, I think some of the most basic things that are already included, even in the cheaper ones, like travel protections, I think are huge. With delays and because I went to Tokyo the first time around. While it didn't get to that point, but like the luggage thing, like they left our luggage in Chicago when we went to Tokyo the first time. So like that kind of stuff is very important, like the protections you have with travel. I know people are probably gonna knock at me on this, but I don't think airport lounge dress is as necessary, but I think it is a great perk to have. Like it just depends on your situation. Like I've talked with a lot of people, if you have families, like it makes sense to have, an airport lounge access if you can get them, free authorized user with the Capital One Venture X, or even just pay for those users with like Amex Platinum. But in general, like I think that's very important. I think no foreign transaction fees are super important because I've been internationally so many times lately that you don't want to get hit with those, 2 or 3% fees. So I think that's very important with a travel credit card. And then I'll say lastly, like if you can get some kind of status boost, I think it helps. Status boost helps. Like the platinum is a great example. I don't have the card, and maybe they'll never give it to me anyway. But just from what everyone says, like a little status boost helps just because of what you're paying for the card. Like trying to get as much value. I think a little status boost with a hotel also helps too. That I would definitely enjoy because as you've seen with like something like Hilton Gold status, it's money in the bank. Like getting that food credit, getting the upgrades. Like when you tell me like when you ask yourself like, hey, does status matter? I would say in about a 70-30 split, 70% it does matter, 30 it doesn't. Obviously, in the end, just asking is the most important thing. But
For sure.
when you get status, you'll see it. They treat you differently. They respond to you. They don't treat you like some Joe Schmo. So I would say those are the major components of a credit card, travel credit card that are really important to me. I mean, the protections, that lounge access is definitely important, especially with connecting flights. And then obviously no foreign transaction fees. And then the status boost is huge. I think people now want trying to find cars that give you a little bit advantage over, me or you. So
For sure.
those are the most important things with travel credit cards.
That's what's up. Now, Cesar got a question for you that I was going to ask later. Cesar has asked this to the last two guests, and now you get it. I'm actually going to incorporate this question into Unfiltered for every single guest. And the question is, if you could only have one credit card for the rest of your life, what card would it be and why?
Yeah, I think if you're asking whether it's cards I have or cards I want,
It could be
I
any
mean,
card.
I think just based on just my lifestyle, and that's the thing is people will say like lifestyle, how your life is right now. Like the Ventrex right now is what I would keep, whether they nerf it in the future, which they probably will, just because of like what's going on right now. Like just it's so simple. Like yeah, the annual fee is probably going to go up, and you're probably going to lose some perks or whatnot. But it's just so simple. Like 2x on, am I going to get a 1x on this or 3x on this? A straight 2x on all your purchases is just it makes it so much easier. And then if you can combine it with other things, that's fine. But like I said, it gives you all the travel components that you need for at least what you do in your life. The airport lounge access, the protections, some added perks. It doesn't have the status boost, or maybe it will, but it gives you other perks, travel credit, which I think is pretty much like the ex facto of a lot of premier travel cards. And the fact that, like I said, no foreign transaction fees, and then it has travel partners, which I'm gonna be honest, like at least for Capital One, the only thing I use it is for Virgin Red, and Virgin Red has been pretty much one of my top three airline partners I've used in the last couple of years. So Capital may not have a lot of good travel partners, and they're not as diverse as Amex or Chase, but the fact that you can use at least two or three that actually matter to you is what's up basically. And
Right.
the Venture X, until it gets nerfed, and even if it does, like we'll see how it goes. But like it's just so simple right now, especially the way I travel and the way I use the card so far.
You know what? The thing about it is, reality is, most people are only going to use about 2, 3 transfer partners anyway. You know,
Yeah.
on any car, no matter if that car has 25 transfer partners, they're only going to use a select number of those transfer partners for the most part. So, now you mentioned a card earlier. You just briefly mentioned it, and it's a card that no one talks about. And I think you said you canceled it. You got it for one specific reason. That's when you did your proposal. Did you actually do that proposal on an air balloon? And tell us about that experience.
Yeah, so like they haven't canceled it yet. It's kind of weird because, like I said, the proposal was that car was paid off and Ring was paid off a long time ago, and I haven't used it since. But yeah, just in hindsight, like it was just a surprise. Like we went on a hot air balloon ride. You probably know, like I said, it was in Florida. Like say it was in Tampa. We did one early in the morning, and big surprise. A lot of money spent, and at that time, like I said, it was the time when like I still had credit card, but I wasn't huge in the game, and I was willing to like go on type of payment plan with the card and the Ring. And like I said, if you could fork over what I paid for the Ring in one shot and hit a bonus, that's great. But at that time, I was a bit younger and not as financially savvy, so I was willing to get a card and just pay it off and just surprise her. And we took a round, like 30-minute balloon ride around Tampa, and then you know very memorable moment of my life, I would say. But and definitely getting that card helped. So
Right, man. I'm gonna tell you, my wife wanted to do that one day, and I'm afraid of heights. I don't know about the hot air balloon, hot air balloon thing, man. But that's. I think I'm pretty. But man, them heights they just get me.
really, I've done skydiving twice now, and so I think I would do it maybe one more time in my life, but then after that, I'm probably done just because of the initial drop from the airplane. Like you kind of feel like your heart stops for like a minute or two, and then if that the rush comes in and you're falling, and that's when it gets really exciting. But like if you're like an adrenaline junkie like me, sometimes like that's what's cool. But I would say that's one of the most cool things. Like I've done that. I've done parasailing. Like parasailing, I think is kind of honestly a joke, um, but I would say yeah. If you really like doing anything in the air, like I highly recommend skydiving if you're up for it.
Yeah. Now the skydiving's no issue. It's being on that hot air balloon just inside of that slow moving balloon up there. That's a whole nother story for me. Okay. Now we gonna get to the next one. Now you applied for and was denied for the Wells Fargo Signify card. Is that a card that you would apply for again? And elaborate on the reason.
So the Signify card, like I said, that was mainly just for a couple of reasons. One, Wells Fargo is up and coming, as people like Matt Clausen have really preached the good word on it, and I think that ecosystem is coming along strong. And like I said, you're going to complain there's only what 5 partners or whatever it is, and it's very small, and people don't want to do the backyard booking. I mean, you can argue either way. I've done a lot of Avianca bookings the last couple of weeks. I have any issues unless you start canceling flights. That becomes a problem. But Wells Fargo in general, like I said, the bonus was what I wanted to spend for the tax and stuff like I had coming up. And like I said, I wanted to get another ecosystem in there with Wells Fargo and then with the autograph card. So like that combo kind of worked out for the future. Of course, with Velocity and some of their stupid rules they have going on, yeah, I got denied. As for what's in the pipeline, I'd say in the future, I think it's more to come. I think people were saying there's like one more prominent card coming out for their portfolio, and I like to see because I actually like the cards in their setup. Where's the autograph? Even the journey's really really good if you're a traveler. Like it's that 4x 5x is really strong, and then the attune. However, people start expanding the data points on what you can get the 4x on. Like I think it's really good. Like I said, they're going in the right way with their portfolio with those very low annual fee cards, and you can get a lot of value for them. I think people can correct me wrong in the chat. There isn't any caps right now for some of the cards for the multipliers. So like you can get ridiculous, multipliers and value out of those cards for like what $95 annual fee basically is their only card I think in top of mind. Everything else is $0 annual fee. Now they don't have I think people are talking about maybe we can correct me if I'm wrong. There isn't any type of like premium travel perks they're offering, like lounge access or status boost, but I'm sure like that's probably coming down the pipeline with probably one of their more premier cards is my guess. Like